Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So I meant to actually do this in yesterday's video, and that was discuss the survey that Evercade sent out. And there was a few things about it that I wanted to talk about, basically based on the questions that they were asking. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the survey, and I'll maybe go through it, have a bit of a laugh, I guess, whilst doing it, and I'll discuss some of my thoughts about what they're trying to achieve from this survey. Okay, so help shape the future of retro with Evercade. So they're obviously sent out this survey, and they're obviously wanting to know your thoughts and some questions and issues and things that are happening in the world of Evercade. And it says the survey should take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. Closing date, fun enough, is today. So I've already actually done this, but what I'm going to do is maybe I'll go through it again. This is a different sort of email account, so I'll be able to go through it again. Just for a bit of a laugh. So let's get started. Let's go next. Okay, about you. How old are you? Wow, how personal are we getting here? 18 to 24. Oh, geez, I don't know. Other 60 plus. I don't know. Well, I suppose I better tell the truth. Yep, here we go. 45 something plus. How do you identify? Oh, always a tricky question these days, but yeah, I just stick with the male. What region in the world are you from? Europe. Now, these are just obvious questions. Which country are you from? Oh, jeez. These are the tricky questions, probably. I guess they're wanting to know where everyone is from. I'm sure they'll get something from this. Usually, you know what it's like. You get these questionnaires, and a lot of the time you probably just ignore them. And if you're in a workplace and you get sent these stuff, you'll probably fill in these things and you'll never hear another word about it. But let's hope they actually get something from it. Which social media platforms do you use? Oh, probably all of them. Let's see. Forums? No. Reddit, maybe. TikTok, yeah. Twitch, occasionally. X, probably. YouTube, other, probably. I mean, that makes me sound really sad, doesn't it? Right, part two, about you and your relationship with video games. Now we're getting personal. Roughly how many hours of video games do you play each week? Do you know, surprisingly, it's probably not that much, but I'll maybe go somewhere down the middle. It's probably only really a few hours every night, if that. A couple hours a night, say 2 times 7, we'll go for 10 to 14. That's probably about right. It's definitely not more than that. I don't think. It might surprise me. How many games do you normally purchase in a typical year? Now, that's probably not an awful lot. If it's outside Evercade, I don't really purchase an awful lot games anymore, but I guess with Evercade carts, we'll have to stick 10 to 14 games, something like that. How do you define retro gaming? Select all that apply. What the heck is the point of this question? I have no idea. What are they going to get out of it? I do not know. Games I grew up with, obviously. Games released in previous hardware generations. I don't know, same thing really, isn't it? Games from the 80s, I don't know. Games I grew up with probably covers the whole lot of that. Arcade machines, I don't know. Games I grew up with, that'll do me. I don't really care. Now, does it really matter what you pick here? What is it going to achieve? There's certain questions here that just seems a little bit crazy. What retro gaming systems do you own? Analog devices, what the heck does that mean? I don't know, probably. Arcade 1-up cabinets, surprisingly I've actually got one of them. I did have alphas, now I don't. EXP, yes. EXPR, yes. Evercade handheld, original, yes. VS, yes. VSR, no. Hyper Megatech Super. This is making me sound kind of sad, but at least I didn't tick a couple of boxes. My arcade devices, probably got a couple of them. Yes, I've got non-licensed, dodgy emulation devices. Replica home computers, yep, and replica arcade cabinets. That would probably be covered under the 1-up stuff. Anyway, which currently available modern gaming platforms do you own? This is going to make me sound really sad now. Gaming PC, yes. I don't even play that much games on Microsoft X. Yep. No, I definitely not had that yet. But I'm sure the kids will be wanting that for Christmas time. Not worth it right now. Sony PlayStation 5. Now, I definitely don't play an awful lot of Xbox or PlayStation. Nowhere near enough. I think they've definitely failed since they were released in 2020. The last 5 years, I've probably been playing more Evercade stuff than ever, and a lot less modern stuff, which really just shows they have failed. We're still waiting in Grand Theft Auto 6. We're still waiting in Elder Scrolls 6. I could probably go on. If you own any modern gaming devices, do you play retro games on them? Yes, I definitely do. From this list, please choose the 3 gaming platforms you use the most. What are they going to get out of this, to be honest? I mean, are they going to get anything from it? Who knows? Now, it's most likely I'll probably play the Evercade EXPR more than anything. I do use the Steam Deck quite a lot as well. That's not really there. Is there an other? I don't really use a lot of the sort of emulation devices at the moment. Haven't really been playing that at all. I suppose, does it say how many? Please choose the 3 gaming platforms that you use the most. So I would say Xbox, yes. EXP, yes. PlayStation 5, yeah, but I would say Steam Deck before the PlayStation 5. I've really not touched the PlayStation 5 much in the last few months, or even this year. Really haven't went near it. I think I played a game at Christmas time and haven't really touched it. Nothing has made me jump back to want to play it. And really the same goes for Xbox. So I've had more stuff on Xbox. Look at the Indiana Jones game, Atomic Fall, I think was the name, and I can't remember, there was another game, but really nothing major. So let's move on. So we're on to page part 3 about your relationship with retro games. Now we're getting even more personal. Why do you play retro games? Select all that apply. Oh geez, I really enjoy playing the games I loved as a child. This is quite long-winded, doesn't it? It makes me feel good. Yeah, great. I suppose so, yes. I appreciate the game design. Oh, I don't care. I am interested in playing older games that were groundbreaking for their time. Yeah, I guess. Maybe. They are good value for money. I don't know. Geez, I don't know about that. I want to play games that I was unable to play. Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, a lot of people probably didn't own stuff like, maybe for me, I didn't own an Amiga. I didn't have an Atari Lynx, amongst many other things. So, and didn't have a Neo Geo. So the fact that we're getting games from those platforms onto Evercade, that's quite attractive for me especially, and probably a lot of other people. So yeah, I would totally agree with that. I hear people talking about certain older games. I'm curious what they're like. I want to share the positive experience. I want to share the positive. Nope. I like the aesthetics of retro games. I like. Nope. Nope. I just enjoy playing good video games. Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm really interested in the technology. No, don't give a toss. They are good to play for short periods of time. Yeah, that's something I quite attractive about. Look, a lot of people, like myself, I don't have an awful lot of time sometimes. From your real job to creating content and doing other life stuff, sometimes time is very limited. So yeah, I don't really have an awful lot of time. And I like to collect retro games. No, I don't really care, to be honest. If Evercade was on digital, I would be more than happy. That brings me to some other questions that they are asking, which is probably the point of me doing this, is the amount of questions that are kind of centered around digital sort of games. Anyway, let's move on. What would you describe yourself as a collector of vintage games? Nope, definitely not. I do have a ton of DVDs, right enough, that I've amassed over the years, but I haven't actually bought many DVDs in the last 10 years, but I still have thousands of them lying about. If you answered yes to the previous question, when was the last time you bought a vintage game? Nope, that's over a year ago probably. When was the last time you purchased a retro game released physical? Well, I guess we're going to have to include Evercade as that retro game. So other than Evercade, it's probably hard to put my finger on when that was. So I'm going to have to, I guess, class Evercade as that. So within the last week, probably with the new releases, yep. When was the last time you purchased a retro game released digitally? Now that would probably be within the last week. As I said, I probably purchase more stuff digitally than anything else. I'm not really a big believer in physical. I know that sounds a bit crazy because that's what Evercade is all about. But me, I really don't care anymore. When Xbox went on to or digitally, especially the Xbox One, not necessarily the 360. Once we moved on to the Xbox One, I was more and more interested in that. However, it does have its drawbacks. You don't technically own anything, which is a little bit of a bummer, because if you have something physical, that is yours. You then have that, you can keep it, you can then use it to resell. If you're buying it digitally, you really have thin air, you have nothing. However, I do like the convenience of playing digital games. Just obviously you just choose the game, it goes on. You can get automatic updates all the time. I know you can do that with discs these days as well, but I don't know, I just do prefer digital games. However, I do see the drawbacks, and basically you own absolutely nothing, and you can't really pass on much to future generations either to maybe get some sale out or get some money back from it. But yeah, it has its ups and downs, and The fact that Evercade are asking these questions kind of makes me think that they might be planning on some sort of digital front of some sort, but I'll go into that in a little minute. Do you use any of the following digital subscription services to play retro games? Okay, I do use AntStream, but I don't actually subscribe. I got it when it was free, and I'm still sort of on that. Nintendo Switch Online, yes. PlayStation Plus Extra, no. Xbox Game Pass, yes. It just seems it's more worthwhile to have that Game Pass right enough, even though it is quite pricey per month. But I've probably had a few games off it that would probably cost me more to buy the games. I think that's my theory. Have you ever purchased an officially licensed retro gaming device or mini console? Yes. That one's a bit of a silly question. How would you describe your relationship with retro games? Very, very intimate. What the heck, man? Tick all the boxes that apply. Yeah, I would say they were the games I play the most. I have a favourite retro game I play all the time. Nope, not necessarily. I only play retro games I played in my childhood. Nope. I only play 8-bit, 16-bit. Nope, not really. I like any game as long as they're decent. Some people like games even if they're bad. Anyway, I like to play physical versions of retro games. No, don't care. I play retro games when I'm on the go. Yep, sometimes. Yeah, I play at home. Yep, I like to play retro games when I'm able to play. Yep, that's true. I play retro games in short bursts. Totally true. I like to replay retro games I couldn't beat back in the day. That's true. With save states, it certainly makes completing a lot of games far more achievable than it was back in the day. Unless you had one of those computers and you could type in all those long sort of pokes that give you infinite lives and infinite health. But yeah, other than that, they were usually unbeatable. I'm interested in playing retro games that I've heard are great, even if they weren't released in my own lifetime. Never thought about that. I like to discover and play retro games I haven't heard of previously. Yeah, why not? What are the low points of retro gaming today? Select all that apply. Flimsy hardware that breaks easily. Is this Evercade we're talking about? Oh, I don't know. Poor emulation. Now that's got to be a point. If you've picked up any of these Chinese handhelds, that is an absolute nightmare. If you've got something that just really can't handle it, it's silly. It really is silly. Substandard sound effects, don't really care. My favourite game is not available. Awkward handling, possibly. Yep. I mean that still probably comes under emulation, I would say. Downloading games. What was the question again? What are the low points? Downloading games. Nah, don't care. Having to use unofficial games when the games I want are unavailable. Well, I guess so. Uncertainty around quality. Uncertainty around reliability of retailers. The expense. I guess so, if you're buying physically, but it doesn't really apply to me, that one. The limited selection of games, technical issues make it hard to set up. That could be true. Not having games that are lesser known today, but or blah blah. I don't care. When do you typically play retro games? I thought we covered this already. At the weekends, during weeknights, and that's it. How do you usually find out about retro gaming news? Jesus Christ, this is a bit daft, isn't it? Is this probably to help them where they're going to maybe focus their maybe sending their goods to, or sending more review copies to? Who knows? Favourite gaming influencers? Is that me? Is that someone else? I mean, am I my own favourite gaming influencer? I probably don't really watch that many people outside the usual people, I guess, but I don't know. Favourite retro gaming specific influencers? Friends' recommendations? Mainstream gaming websites? I just don't care about any of them. Time extensions? Don't care. Time extension. I mean, retro-centric gaming websites, not necessarily. Live streams, don't really care. Summer of Gaming, future game shows, nope. Social media, I mean, probably that does affect you and affect us all in so many ways. Email updates, I mean, that probably does help. Gaming forums, I'm not really on any. Retro-centric gaming forums, nope. Video content, probably, but is that not covered with a lot of things up here, I guess? But retro gaming events or conventions, maybe on occasion, where you maybe come across games you've never seen or heard before. Now here we go, we're on to what's the most you're happy to pay for a digital download of a retro game? Why the hell are Evercade asking that question? That seems irrelevant considering their focus is always on physical. So are they planning on some sort of digital downloads in the future? Is it something they're going to look at? If you look at maybe perhaps the Capcom situation where they're not happy to have games on a physical cart, Will they maybe put them onto a digital storefront so you can download them to your Evercade device, and they're really just putting it out there to see how much you'd be willing to actually pay for that? I'm not sure. I mean, up to $10. If it depends what game it is, doesn't it? If it's an old game, I'm not really sure I want to pay any more than that. Although if we're talking about some games like Resident Evil, for example, or Ridge Racer, would you want to pay more than that for these games? They probably are cheaper on Steam Deck or on Steam or on Xbox. So I don't know. I'm going to have to. I'm going to sound like a real cheapskate here, but $10 seems plenty just for one game. Maybe even 11 to 15, up to 16 to 20 maximum. I'm not really sure I want to pay any more than that for a digital retro game. What's the most you're happy to pay for a physical version of a retro game? I mean, I could still say $10, but realistically, not looking at the prices, 16 to 20 seems about reasonable for me. Not sure why it's highlighted in dollars, considering they are primarily British or UK based, but anyway, it is what it is. What are the most important features for a retro gaming system to have? Durable quality, hardware design that looks good, I guess. Yep. A use of physical media, I don't really care about that, as I've probably said, which might surprise you all. Comfortable to handle, of course. Good emulation performance. Ease of use. I mean, all of that. Surprisingly, I'm only taking the one that I really, really don't care if they come in a cartridge or not. Do you attend retro gaming conventions or markets? Yes, I do on the occasion. Do you attend a modern gaming or game-related convention? Not really, no. What era of retro gaming do you most connect with? I mean, Jesus, I'm so old. I'm probably all of that. I mean, arcade era, 2600. Oh, I've only got one option. Jesus. Oh, jeez. How do you possibly click that? I mean, I probably could click all of them. But I guess I come from I started in the 2600, but C64 I probably connect with the most, so let's go with that. About Evercade. Jesus, has it not been about Evercade so far? They're kind of wording that a little bit strangely. Evercade is a range of high quality handheld blah de blah blah. Even if you never have used an Evercade system before, please let us know your thoughts and what offers we can understand what is important to you. What of blah blah. Before taking the survey, have you heard of Evercade? Yep. Do you own? Yep. This is silly, I guess, for me. If no, are you planning? Nope. Have you seen Evercade or Super Pockets being covered? Yes, yes. That amazing Crazy Burger covered most of them. Like and subscribe, follow him, he's amazing. These are the features of the Evercade retro gaming system of hardware and game cartridges. Please indicate how important you think each of these features are. An award-winning range of hardware that lasts. Quite important. High quality, quite important. Oh, geez, this is starting to get boring. A mini arcade machine, don't really care. Let's put that down the list a little bit. Just double check the headings. A little important. The biggest collection of blah blah blah. Nah, more important. Collectible, a curated wide blah 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 blah. Game cartridge playable. Well, I guess that's got to be important, but I don't really care about cartridges, as I said. But they have to be compatible across all the devices. Instant play, of course, that is extremely important. We don't like these patches. We don't like microtransactions that are plaguing modern platforms. Horrible. Excellent emulation, absolutely. Beautiful design manuals, couldn't really care less, but important enough. They are there as long as they are well done, I guess. The excitement for a new release, yeah, it can be quite interesting. Multiple game greats packed into one cartridge, of course. Being reminded of games I hadn't thought about in years but loved, yeah, maybe. Wide ranging selecting, releasing new and retro, yes, I like that idea. Please, we need more of that from independent retailers. Enjoying retro games on the go, I guess so. If you own at least one Evercade, blah blah blah, please let us know what made you want to buy that in the first place. I don't know, because I was absolutely bored during COVID. Is that an option? Price point is, can I choose more than one? Yes, I can. Physical, nope. So ease of use, yes. Emulation quality, that's not really why I picked up Evercade, but it's obviously proven itself to be pretty decent over the years. It was a gift, nope. Game Live, discovery of new indie games, I guess so, that's good. It was on sale, nope. Replaying favourite retro games, of course. I'm going to have to put it onto board. Oh, Jesus. Board during COVID. And that's one of the reasons, I guess, what made me get stuck in. How many Evercade cartridges? Yep, all of them. Now I really have to probably start getting selective, I guess, with cartridges. I guess because I've been here since the start, you just kind of get that mindset that you have to buy them all. But honestly, you really, really don't. If you have heard of Evercade and do not own them, blah blah blah, please share any feedback you have on the Evercade range. If you have an Evercade, how likely are you to recommend it to someone else? I would probably say definitely. Why not? Have a go if you're interested in retro games. Not for everyone, but that's it. Anyway, guys, what do you think of this sort of a questionnaire survey thing that they've put out there? What are they trying to get from it? What are you aiming for? Will we ever hear anything more about it? Why are there a focus on digital storefront questions? Are they going to do that? Is it something they're interested in? I know they are primarily always going to be physical. However, is it something that they're going to venture into? What else can they get from this sort of a survey? Are they going to obviously get more from where people are in the world from that? And are they going to start advertising in different places to maybe get more users on board? Who the heck knows? It'll be interesting to get some feedback from Blaze themselves once they get this all collated. Hopefully, we'll get some results from it that might be interesting or not. Although it could be one of those things you'll never hear about it again until they probably pop up a digital store. Now, I'm not going to say a digital store is going to happen, but there's a possibility they could do something in some way, like offer a few games that maybe it's not worth putting onto a cartridge, for example, and it's not fair to put them on free. Obviously, they do the free secret games. Perhaps it might be an option to have a selection of games that you can pay $1 or $2 for, $3. That look at all these games that you see on itch.io, for example. It might be an idea to try and sort of cross-refer that onto an Evercade platform, have some kind of storefront to help support these indie developers and buy some of these games. Or is it just going to be for those large publishers that don't want to release games in carts? Are we going to see that as well? Maybe a mixture of both, maybe even none of that. But anyway, guys, I would be interested to know your thoughts on what you think the point of this survey was. So let me know in the comments, guys. And again, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.